Chapter 9. The Harlequin's Gang. The street was still empty and gloomy. Dirt, stench. Occasionally, there were half-eaten corpses left by scavengers. I had already fully adapted to my new state, and I had all the necessary information. Therefore, I was confidently heading towards the residential complex where I had met the sorcerer. Before entering the lively area, I planned to disguise myself as a beggar and sneak unnoticed to the old man. But quite unexpectedly, the sound of an internal combustion engine was heard somewhere very close. And once again, plans were slightly disrupted. The visit to the old man would have to be postponed again. It meant the time had not yet come. Moreover, the contact with the gang was also planned, but for a much later date. I had no doubt that the people in the car were from the clown's gang. A black car stopped near me. 4 people got out. There was no danger. I could handle 4 easily, even if they were armed. "Hello, everyone," I said. "I'll answer your question right away. I am Colonel Larry Nord of the Army. I need to talk to Harlequin. I have a profitable proposal for him." The men exchanged glances, and one of them said,
"Get in the car."
"First, a confirmation that you're from his gang."
"You're not in a position to be making demands."
The man replied. "Boys, let me explain something to you," I said, moving towards them. "It will only take me a few seconds to kill you all." The men drew their firearms. "And by the way, I've made sure Harlequin will find out exactly what he's losing if our meeting doesn't happen. I bet his favorite tomahawk will end up in each of your heads. So, what are we going to do?" I looked at them casually, waiting for a response. One of the men lowered his gun and stepped aside. From the corner of my eye, I saw he was contacting someone. Soon, this guy returned and turned on a holographic screen on his metric. I saw a face painted in blue and red. A creaky, unpleasant voice was heard.
"Who do we have here?" "Oh, greetings, brave warrior. I have just one question. Are you suicidal, or do you really think you have something to offer me?"
"That's already 2 questions," I replied. "Let's meet right now, or I leave. You'll then receive a message with an offer that will no longer be relevant, and you'll see how much you've lost." Harlequin laughed. No, it was more like the mad cackle of a lunatic. Then he began to applaud and finally said,
"Bravo, brave warrior, bravo. May I ask, where exactly do you plan to go? Into the bellies of the scavengers? Or do you think you'll get lucky and the gravediggers will bury you?"
I sighed and replied, "Well, just so you understand what I'm talking about. That one miss with the blade while fending off scavengers was enough for me to understand and feel the coordination of human body movements. Everything happened very quickly. Drawing the sword from under my cloak, with a single upward movement, I cut off the nearest arm holding a gun. Simultaneously, with my other hand, I diverted another pistol away from me. With a second downward movement, I cut off another arm. Yes, there was a shot from the gun I had diverted, but it went wide. This guy tried to aim at me again, but he didn't get the chance. I cut off his head. All this happened in a matter of seconds. And you won't have time to draw your pop gun either," I said to the man with the holographic monitor. I looked at the screen, at Harlequin, and asked, "Do you still find this funny?"
Hey, all right, stop. Okay, let's talk."
Harlequin shouted. "Here's how our story will continue, little Tommy," I began, sheathing my sword. "Despite this misunderstanding, my offer still stands. I'll come over and we'll talk. But know this, you're under close surveillance by my gang. Yes, I'm a military man, but that's just official. The crimes I've committed, let's just say you couldn't even dream of such things. So, throw out any bad thoughts from your head and wait for my visit." The man with the screen turned off the video connection and got behind the wheel of the car, not even glancing at his bleeding, armless comrades. I sat next to him, we turned around, and drove down the main street. On the way, we saw a small flock of scavengers. They were flying towards us. "Will the birds peck at the still living guys?" I asked. The driver shrugged and replied briefly.
Yes.
We approached a tall building, for this quarter anyway. We went up to the 278th floor, walked down the corridor, and stopped at a door. My escort placed his metric on the lock, and the door opened. We found ourselves in a huge hall where a drunken party was in full swing. Lots of men, women, drugs, alcohol, sex without any privacy or conditions. Cozy, even too cozy. We walked through the crowd. Another door, lock, metric, key. But first, the guards asked me to leave my sword and other dangerous items in the storage box.
Larry, old friend, hello. I'm so glad to see you.
Harlequin exclaimed.
Thanks for finding the time to drop by my party. Will you have a drink with me?
Hello, Tommy. I'm glad to see you too, buddy. I replied in his style, mocking and grinning. Of course, let's have a drink. But first, let's discuss business. He sat down in a chair, put his feet on the table, took a sip of whiskey and said,
Speak.
First, I need a metric for data and funds transfer. He took a plastic card from the drawer and tossed it to me. I synced it with my metric, threw the card back on the table, and said, Let's start with what I specifically have for you. First, this is just to start the conversation. 1,000 mobilization forms to be filled out at your discretion. Harlequin raised an eyebrow, looked at me questioningly, but didn't ask anything. He was waiting for me to continue. And here's the first batch. 200 of those forms are already on your metric. The rest are locked, and the key is at headquarters. They can only be unlocked with my fingerprint. This is to ensure you don't try to bargain for advances during our conversation.
Got it. What's next?
Next are 50 sets of antidotes, but you'll have to take my word for it.
That doesn't count. For now, I only believe in the 200 forms.
I understand. Here you go, 1,000 free credits. But the most important thing is, all this is just a trifle to set you up for a serious conversation.
It's about time,
Harlequin said impatiently through gritted teeth. Here's my proposal. You and 31 people from your inner circle are needed in the Megapolis. There's a job for you.
The conversation is over. I'm not going to cross the checkpoint through mobilization.
Who do you take me for? Look here. I sent him a copy of the order. Do you understand what this is? This is General Stein's order, authorizing 32 people to leave the gray zone under my escort. Attached are the sub-lists with the names of those exiting the zone outside of mobilization.
Okay. What's the job?
The job is for you to do what you love and know how to do. When the time comes, you and your people will manage a large group of people. The task of this group is to sow chaos, panic, and fear. I think you already understand what kind of game is being planned.
A coup d'etat?
Yes. In the meantime, you'll have full access to enter and exit the gray zone freely. The payment I can mention now sounds almost too good to be true. My bosses are generous, and the pie is big. There's more than enough to go around. So, to sum it up, first, it's safe for you because half the army of Western Megapolis is behind me. Second, free crossing of the border with the gray zone. Third, life in the Megapolis and a completely different status. Fourth, you'll be living the high life and doing nothing in the Megapolis starting today for a month, while credits will be flowing in every day, so much so that you won't know how to spend it all.
Sounds nice,
Harlequin interrupted.
But what makes you think I'm interested in simple words? What course of action are you proposing?
You didn't let me finish, I replied, sternly but calmly. In just over a month, the real work will begin, and trust me, it's going to be pretty exciting. The only condition, behave yourself until the time comes. And now, let's get to the course of action. I suggest we conclude these negotiations with the following procedure. I know you have a prohibited gadget called Femidos. Go ahead. Take out your lie detector. I'll place my hand on the screen and say just one sentence. After that, you'll make a decision instantly and announce it. I'm not giving any extra information right now. Harlequin pulled a small glass screen from the same desk drawer on which I placed my hand, and looking at Tommy, I said, "If you accept my offer right now, without unnecessary questions or objections, you'll end up with a profit you can't even imagine. And mind you, you'll profit regardless of how my mission turns out." I removed my hand from the screen. "That's all, Tommy. Now, your decision." Harlequin pressed the touch button. A voice from the screen said,
The suspect's words contain 0% falsehood. He believes what he says 100%.
I agree.
Harlequin said. "Then today we're going to make the Western Megapolis metrics. You all will have different names. We'll meet in an hour and a half near the checkpoint East 91. I'll order the transport, and you gather your guys and explain the situation to them. After the formalities, you're free. Do whatever you want, but not in the city."
Agreed?
They drove me to the checkpoint by car. I got out into the city and contacted Alexis. Under the General's order, I'm placing an order for a vehicle. Type, ground, high speed, on an electromagnetic cushion. Model, prison bus. Extras, paint it completely black, disguise the interior as a troop carrier.
Your order will be carried out in 45 minutes, Colonel.
So fast? Well, I have to wait for those clowns. A bit earlier than expected, I got the whole crowd onto the bus along with Harlequin. I closed the door behind them, clicked the lock. Then I went to the driver's seat, set the autopilot, and loaded instructions for my subordinates regarding the reception of the bus at headquarters. As the vehicle sped off, I muttered after them, "Goodbye, little mice. See you in the laboratory."